Called what?
Okay, I'm making oat burgers. And so we start out with some hot water, which I have brought to a boil in the kitchen. And we are going to add some oats to that. We're going to add 4 cups. This makes a big recipe. And so if you want, you can cut it in half. Or you can just make them all and put them in the freezer. So these are the whole oats, not the quick oats. And I'm just put that back there so it's not so big. And we'll stir those in. Of course, that brought my water to stop boiling, but then we're going to throw the onions in there too. And it doesn't say to do that, but I think it forms better. The onions are softer and they'll hold together better when we make the patties for these. And so I'm throwing the onions in to cook for the couple minutes. Now, I might need, okay. Can you see that? It's far away.
Yeah, we got it.
I'll move it off here in a moment. While it's cooking, I can add the seasonings to it. Let me go get my measuring spoon because I forgot those on the other side. No. I know the other thing I forgot, but this will work. I'll just do half. It calls for a half a cup of soy sauce, or liquid aminos, sorry. I was actually supposed to start with that. Liquid aminos is similar to soy sauce, but it's not fermented, and so it's healthier for you, and it's not quite as salty. I've tried the other types of soy sauce, the low salt ones, and they just seem like they are, oh, thank you. He wants a close-up of it. Liquid aminos. I forgot. He might need that. You know, I think if I put the lid on, these burners aren't quite as high as the ones in the kitchen. So even though I've added all that stuff, it takes just a moment for it to get going again. So I've got the 4.5 cups of water and half a cup of liquid aminos and 4.5 cups of oats. Oh, I put 4. I found it was too dry with that many oats. So maybe do the less, and I just forgot to change that. And then I have 1 diced onion, medium onion, which is about a cup, a little over a cup. Then when it gets cooked, we're going to add some rice. I can add the seasonings, some cooked brown rice, and some sunflower seeds. But right now, I'll wait on that one too. I can add the garlic powder, and I'll do that. I need 1 teaspoon. I see that I mistyped it. Hey, it's starting to boil. That's good. So 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And it has a beef-flavored seasoning. I use McKay's. And it has some of the yeast and some other things. What's it called for? 1 teaspoon of that. I have a lump there. And if you don't have that, you know, there's enough liquid aminos in there. And I'm going to add the nutritional yeast, and it will probably, it might not need it. Maybe a tad bit more salt then. Then it calls for, is this the one that calls for? Yeah, Italian seasoning. It only calls for a quarter cup of that. You know what? I think my quarter teaspoon. Sorry. Thank you. I think my quarter teaspoon might be wet, so I'm going to use a little. And a quarter teaspoon is like, that's very little. Why even bother putting it in? I usually put more than that. Sesame seeds. Sesame seeds, I found one that's a brown, it's more natural color. I think they bleach the white ones. That's the only thing I can guess. I don't know for sure because I've not read on it, but anyway, I'm going to stir this in here. So I figured, well, it's probably healthier, so I bought the nutrition, the kind of the brown ones, and they have, but
they have black one too.
You know, the best way to do this, and I should have done it at home, sesame seeds are like flax seeds. They are so small, your body doesn't gain much nutrition from them unless you grind them up. And so I would probably grind them. I didn't because I forgot, and I just threw them in because I was just doing it. And I thought, well, maybe you see them, but I don't think you hardly see them in the recipe. But sesame seeds have a lot of calcium in them, and so if you grind them up, then you would gain the blessing of that. I don't know how much is destroyed with heat. I'm not up on that. But anyway, we'll throw that in, and I think, turn that off, and I think it's thick enough. Then we're going to add, it calls for quite a bit of the nutritional yeast, half a cup, and I measured that. This is what I usually have it in at home, but I measured out a half a cup. And then we're down to the sunflower seeds and the rice and the carrots. I'll add the carrots first. And then let's put all of this stuff over here. Okay. And I think this can handle the heat. We'll add the cold rice to it. Where do I need to have it now?
Perfect.
Okay, we're going to add this rice. It'll warm up in there. So I'm going to show you the two ways that I did it at home for cooking them. It's already cooked, but you got to form it into what tastes good. And so I don't think that this one would do good in a loaf, but I haven't tried it. So I guess I should have, because I had some left over. I should have just thrown it. I got tired of making patties. This is a big recipe, and so I purposely chose a big pan that I could start it in so I could just keep mixing it in the pan. Today I had to pour it into a bowl. Whoops, I'm overflowing. I think I have everything mixed into it. The rice, every so often I see a lump. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this frying pan more over to the middle so he can see. Now, this frying pan, for some reason, never sticks. I have one that's similar to it, and it sticks. And right now, it's hot. This is hot and soft, and so it pours out really nice into making patties. As it cools, it gets stiffer, and then I kind of had to help form it more and hope that it would hold together. And so when you do it right away when it's hot, so if you don't have sunflower seeds and you would rather put walnuts or pecans or some other nuts, you can. I was thinking my grandson can eat this one because he can't eat other nuts, but he can eat, there's a lump of rice, to mix it into the other part of it. but he can eat sunflower seeds. So you could make these any size you want. If you happen to, I made littler ones for you for your samples today. This is kind of my average size that I make, and I figure then we'll eat 2 of them for a recipe. Then I put the lid on in this pan. That keeps it from sticking. To put the lid on, it kind of steams it in there, but it also fries it. Now, while that's doing that, I'm going to go get, I think I left it sitting in here. Wanted to show you what I did for baking them. So I have, if you happen to have one of these Silpat ones, it's great because then it doesn't stick to it at all. You don't have to worry about it sticking. And so there again, you can just drop it. As it gets warmer, and you can use, this is a little bit bigger spoon, and so, but it seems to be working pretty good. I was going to bring a lid because it tells how you can do it with a canning lid. Every time I've done that, it hasn't worked for me. But I know that we have a lady in our church and she does it all the time. But I had to oil it, wash it and oil it in between almost every one. And it's like, I can't be bothered with that. I don't care if they're that perfect. My goal is to make it and make round, halfway round, and you can do a lot just with your spoon. If you watch here, I kind of dump it out and then I pull in the sides and make it the shape I want. And so I'm kind of waiting just for a moment so I can turn those other ones so you can see. These you can put a whole bunch in your oven at once, and so then you can just put them all together and put them in the oven, and then you're kind of done. But it takes longer to bake them than it does to fry them if you're just doing a pan or two. And so you have to decide what you like the best. I personally like them in the pan, I think, better. They seem to be a little, they're crisp, but not too hard of a crisp. Although by the time I baked them and I put them in a pan and brought them here, they might not have been so crispy. I tried them at home right as I took them out of the oven, and it was like, well, that's pretty crispy on the outside. So, oh, I see another blob of rice. We'll put something else in that spot. Okay, I can make a little one on the outside, but I'm going to quit with that and go put those in the oven. And that's all I'll bake here for you for now. Let's see if these have been almost enough. Over there. These almost. They're not quite holding together, but these tend to not hold together. But they would be better if I let them sit for a little bit longer. In this particular pan, I do it at 325 because this pan runs warmer, but I have another pan just like this at home, and I made some in each one, and it sticks, so I had to put a little oil in it, which I left at home. But I'll put the lid back on. But the two pans, one sticks, the other one doesn't, and so this is my favorite.
Would that be olive oil you put in, or what kind of oil?
I did use, let's see, did I use olive oil? I think I used canola at home today, but I have done olive oil, canola, corn. My thought on oil is I try not to use very much of any of it because it's not that healthy for you, but your body reacts to all oils pretty close to the same. There's not much nutritional difference between any of them. The big thing was olive oil, but and so I use it a lot when I'm well, I shouldn't say I use it a lot because I don't use a lot. But I use olive oil in salads if it calls for it, and I almost always cut it in half or a quarter. In a salad, it doesn't take very much oil. It's the other seasonings that make it taste good. You want just a little bit in your salads to make it just kind of hold to your vegetables in your salad. That's part of what the oil is for. It just helps it. And so I've cut it in half and then in a quarter. For a bowl of salad, at the most, I would have a tablespoon. Usually it's less, a teaspoon and a half of oil, and then the other seasonings, whatever they are. Whether it's lemon, I have a couple of them that have some liquid aminos and other things in it. Okay. Let's add another minute or two. Sorry, that was noisy. And then you leave it for about 5 minutes on the other side. I think the ones that you had, I cooked for longer because I was doing 4 things at once. So this pan, when I have the lid on,